everybody, and welcome to another Cricut craft tutorial. Before we get started, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button down below to join my crafty family here on YouTube. There's so many exciting things coming in 2021 that you won't want to miss out on. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to do a really fun Christmas craft for really inexpensive. You just need a couple items from your local Dollar Tree or other dollar store. I used a large plastic Christmas bulb and a hat-style Christmas ornament to make this adorable snowman. You can use any glitter that you want to on the inside. I used some Starcraft snow glitter, and you just need some polyacrylic to hold the glitter inside, and then just a little bit of vinyl to create the snowman face. This can be done without a Cricut as well, because you could use markers or paint pens to draw your snowman face on your little ornament here. Or you could even hand cut your vinyl out and you could still make a really adorable snowman face. So don't fret if you don't have a Cricut. This is a craft that anybody can do. You'll also want to grab some hot glue to hold your hat onto your ornament. Let's get started. I'm so excited to show you how to make this adorable craft. This is a really simple and fun project to do, and it only costs a couple of dollars. So what you're going to do first is pop the top off of your ornament. And I have polyacrylic in a squeeze bottle. It just makes it easier to get it into the ornament, and especially when you're doing these big ones, it does take quite a bit of polyacrylic. So what I'm going to do is just squeeze a generous amount in, and I didn't quite open my top quite large enough. And I got these squeezy bottles at the Dollar Tree as well. They come in a 2-pack and they're really nice. So I'm just going to squeeze a bunch in, and don't worry if you squeeze like a ton in. We're going to drain it into this cup and we'll be able to save it. So then all you're going to do, just like when you do the smaller bulbs, is just swirl it around. I wanted to do this big bulb today because we're going to put this cool hat on it, which I got from the Dollar Tree as well. This is actually a standalone Christmas ornament, but we're going to make a snowman Christmas ornament. So you're just going to swirl it, and I will speed this up so you don't have to watch me swirling. Once you're almost to the end, put the cup under your spout for your ornament, so the topper there, because you are going to get a little dripping coming out, and that way it's not going to make a mess all over your table, but you want to make sure you cover the whole top of your ornament. And then all I'm going to do is set it right into the plastic cup so that it can drain. So it's just going to drain right into that plastic cup. I'm going to let that drain for about 5 minutes. Once you've let that drain for a while, we're going to use Flash Freeze by Starcraft. This is a cool glitter. It has little blues and snowflakes and silvers in it. It's really pretty, and I think this will look cool for a snowman. So again, we're going to save the cup because there's quite a bit of polyacrylic in here that we can save. So then all I'm going to do is open the little pour top on my glitter, and I'm just going to carefully pour some in to my ornament. Now sometimes it is a little difficult, and a funnel can help, but this has shapes in it, and a funnel is going to make it almost impossible for these little snowflake shapes to get through. So I'm just going to have to go really carefully. Now you'll note I do have a piece of cardstock on the table to catch anything that falls out. And I do want to put quite a bit of glitter in here, and don't worry, whatever glitter doesn't stick in here, we can absolutely put right back in. But again, this one is a little bit messy because it does have some shapes. So all I'm going to do now is just take that glitter and swirl it around inside. And like I said, I know I'm going to need more, so don't worry. We totally know that this is not going to coat the whole thing. This does take quite a bit, but what I like to do is I'll go around and just tap it to get any loose glitters to move around. And you can see it's really pretty. So we're going to go ahead and keep going. Like I said, I just like to go slow, and especially with these shaped glitters, they can be a little bit messy if you pour too much in at once. So you can end up with shapes and a mess everywhere. So again, we're going to do this right over our cardstock, and I'm just going to tap as I go a little bit, get any loose glitter that might be in the way. And don't worry too much if you don't get a ton of glitter up here. A lot of that is going to end up covered by the hat that we're going to put on. But I'm just going to make sure to tap this a bunch. I want to get any loose glitter out that I can. You don't want too much loose glitter floating around in there. And there you go. It's all coated. It looks so cool. I love this glitter. It's one of my favorites. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side because we're going to let this dry a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and clean up my glitter. All I'm going to do is just pour it right back into my container. Super easy, but again, this is glitter you can save so you don't have to waste any. And I'm just going to pour it right back into my container, and then we'll go over to Design Space and we'll cut out the little snowman face. We'll get the hole cut into the top of the hat here, and we'll be ready to attach. We are just going to use a snowman face from Design Space, so it's just easier and it's really simple. So what I'm going to do first is ungroup, and I'm going to get rid of all the pieces I don't need. So I don't need anything that isn't his face. So we'll keep that part. We'll get rid of this. This is a lot of layers, my goodness. We'll get rid of this. We don't need the buttons. So all we really need is this part of his face and his carrot. So what I'm going to do is take this guy and I'm going to contour him. And you can contour by just clicking down in the lower left-hand corner. And I just need to get rid of his hat, and I want to get rid of the buttons. So we're going to hide all of those. And it's a little hard to tell which dots are which, so we're just going to kind of watch over here to see which dots disappear as we're clicking. But this is not the best setup. You could absolutely just go through and, yeah, the contour really isn't doing much, is it? Let's see what happens when we get rid of it. There we go. Okay, it was a little bit weird. Usually it shows you what it's getting rid of, but that's okay. So this is all we need for our snowman. We just need his little mouth, his face, you know, all those things. So we have about 3 inches wide to work with. So I'm going to make him a little bit bigger. And I'm going to actually move his mouth and his eyes further away from his carrot when we go to do this. But I'm just going to let it cut just like this, and it should be just fine. So what I'm going to do is click Make It, and it's got orange for the carrot, and then we'll use black for his eyes and his mouth. We're going to cut this on StarCraft HD. Super easy to do. Just cut that on the vinyl setting. I'll get that cut out and weeded, and then I'll show you guys how to apply. Now what we're going to do is take our top hat, because this is our next step, and this again came from the Dollar Tree. Super inexpensive. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center, or generally about where center is, and I'm going to stick in my X-Acto knife. Now this is foam inside, so it is pretty easy to cut once you get through the burlap. So I'm just going to cut a little X in here first, because I'm not 100% sure what's inside. And then I'm going to put the cap back on this immediately, and I want to use the other side of this just real quick, just to see what's inside of it. It looks like it's going to be full foam, so we may need to kind of dig out, which is okay. We can do that. So what we'll do is we'll use our X-Acto knife, and we're just going to kind of curve out here a little circle. And this circle doesn't have to be exact, because we're going to glue it to the top of our ornament. So I'm just going to pop all this out. And this can get a little bit messy because this is styrofoam in here apparently. So just be prepared that you may get a little bit of a styrofoam mess. But yeah, this should be pretty easy. So you'll just need to make sure that you cut your circle large enough to fit the top of your ornament. Now I do recommend using the larger 3-inch ornaments on this, because the small ones look kind of funny. They're almost too small for his head, and his hat looks huge. So what I'm going to do is just check my fit. I've got to go way bigger. This is a really big top of the ornament, so I've got to go a lot bigger. So we're just going to go ahead and cut out a much larger circle. Again, all I'm doing is kind of shaving out the styrofoam from the inside a little bit. That way the middle of the ornament will fit. But you can see it's definitely a lot of styrofoam mess. So I'm just going to check again. I've still got to go a little bit bigger. That's okay. We can go bigger, no big deal. Again, this is a super quick and simple ornament to make. It's really fun, really inexpensive. It takes just a little bit of vinyl, so this is perfect for those vinyl scraps that you've got laying around. And everything came from the Dollar Tree, so it's really, really easy. You don't have to glitter the inside of your ornament. You can leave it clear if you'd want. You could add tinsel, all sorts of stuff. I think I just got to go a little bigger. We are so close. It's almost there. Just a little larger, and we will have this. So all I'm doing is just going around the edges, and I'm just going to shave the edges right now because I don't need a ton more space. I just need a little. So you can see I'm just kind of going around, and again, I'm just going to clean out some of the styrofoam from the middle. That way the bulb has somewhere to go inside. And then I'm just going to test fit, and it fits perfectly. Once you've got the hole large enough, we're just going to put some hot melt glue into our hole. You don't need to put a ton, but do make sure you get it around this edge. That way it holds on. I let my glue dry for just a few moments before I flip it over. Or what you can do is take your bulb and set it down into the hat. And I just want to make sure I get this in. And then I'm going to let this sit upside down for just a little bit to let that hot melt glue completely dry, and then we can put on the face. Now it's time to put on the little snowman's face. So I just have a little piece of transfer tape, and I'm just going to put his eyes on. First, like I said, I'm going to spread his eyes and his mouth out a little bit more than they were in the Design Space design. So what you want to do is figure out where you want the front of your snowman to be, and you can just lay your eyes where you want his face to start. And I just use my hands. You got to be careful because these are plastic, so they do kind of bend a little bit if you press too hard. So I just use my fingers on these because the vinyl really does like to stick pretty well. So just take your time, get your vinyl stuck down. I'm going to do the carrot nose next, and I'm using medium tack transfer tape from 143 Vinyl. It's all linked down below, so just make sure you check those links. And then I'm going to put his little carrot nose, and then again, this one you just sort of place it where you want it to go. I think that looks like a good spot for a little carrot nose. Now this one, because it is a little bit bigger and it's on a curve, we're going to have to mess with it just a little bit to get it to stick down really well. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and peel my transfer tape off, and then I'm going to take my finger and just run it along this bottom ridge just to get rid of any of those little bubbles. There's his little carrot nose. And now we're going to do the mouth. This is one of the simplest projects to do. It's so easy. It's so fun. And if you don't have a Cricut, you can still do this. You can just use some Sharpies or some paint pens to do the face. And you can just design it any way you want. So I'm going to put his little mouth out. Let's see. I'm going to go a little bit higher with his mouth. And all we got to do is just lay his mouth down. And again, just press with your finger. You don't want to press too hard. And I'm just going to make sure that that's going to stay down. And voila. You have one completed snowman ornament. Isn't he so cute? I hope you guys had so much fun learning how to make this adorable little snowman from the Dollar Tree. Again, this was only $2 and it was so fun. And remember, you don't have to have a Cricut to make this. You can just draw on your snowman face, cut it out of felt, cut it out of paper and glue it on, whatever works for you. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to hear from you and to answer those questions for you. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season and happy crafting.